I'ma say what I feel, and I promise to keep it real. Welcome to the Rant Room.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Hilliard Guest, and you guys are listening to the Screenwriters Rant Room, where we keep it real, we keep it opinionated, we keep it what, everybody?
Game all day!
Yeah, y'all hear that chorus? I like that shit. Look. East St. Louis gospelettes and shit. Look at that. Walter Hawkins' cousin and something. Look at that. On the show, we discuss entertainment, TV, film, music, culture. But our focus is always screenwriting, stories, craft, and shit like that. Super excited for this episode. Everybody, please make sure you guys go on screenwritersrantroom.com. Check out the new website. My man Manquel hooked us up. A lot of dope stuff. We got my man Lou in the building on the ones and twos, even though with ones and twos is camera for y'all, just so you know. Shut up. Eric staring at me crazy.
No.
Anyway, shout out to all you guys. This is our first attempt to record the show, so hopefully you guys enjoy it and get into the show. If you guys are grown, we're going to jump on in. So today I got my sis in the building. I'm acting silly today. Why y'all ain't laughing and stuff? Y'all see. My sis in the building, Fia Perera, writer, director, producer herself. What's up, Fia? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Hill. It's great
Come
to
a
be
little
here. Yeah, it's great to be here with the two you guys. Awesome.
Yes, indeed.
Very
yes,
cool on a Sunday, looking good.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All the pretty black
Part of
people.
the party.
Look at that.
That's right.
So we got to welcome to the show my man in the building, killing the game right now. You guys have seen him all kind of shows. Look, Everybody Video, you know, all on the videos, all on the stage. That's my shield for you right there. ERIC Dean Seaton, y'all, director, writer. Welcome to the show, my man.
I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.
Dope.
So, we've been talking for a minute about having you on the show.
We have been.
So,
I'm
go ahead.
actually shy, kind of. This is only my second podcast.
Oh, is it?
And the first one won't air because it was terrible.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I thought you wrote Pete. You never did Pete's
I
episode?
did, but we won't.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It was during the dark time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. Like, you know,
Okay.
we can talk about stuff. Like,
Yeah.
It's storytellers. So, you know, you take from your experience in life, and it was during the strikes. It was just like a sad time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just wasn't what I would want to.
Right.
You know, but it was great knowledge to remind myself to find myself no matter what the situation is. So it was dope.
The strike is an interesting thing. I think you and I used to talk about this, Fia. So there's different levels for everybody, right? You have people who work a lot, and they're in the middle of a show, and boom, it gets stopped. So now they're like, what are we going to do? You have people who are about to do a show, and then it gets pushed, and they're like, what are we about to do? And then you have people who've never done it, who are like, what are we about to do? So it's like a weird place, isn't it?
It is, and I went through both of them because I was here in 08. And in 08 I had no kids, no wife, and what's crazy is 3 weeks before the strike, I claimed I had made the announcement that I'm just going to be a director because I was an AD before that.
Right.
And then there was a strike, and it didn't, like it was, I went out marched, supported and all that, but it didn't affect me in the ways that the last one did because I didn't have any responsibilities other than into myself. So I just used that time to watch shows, work on directing, all that type of stuff. I would do, it's no joke. I mean, I did this before I started directing, but I started in multicam. So I call count shots. So I would turn on CBS on Monday night, and I would either turn the TV up or turn it down. And as I watched the show, I would, multi-camera is A, B, C, and X. There's 4 cameras. I would count. That's A, that's B, that's C, that's X, that's A.
I like that.
For a whole episode.
Exercise.
And this is not an exaggeration. I did it for an entire year.
Wow.
Never missed. And if I missed on a Monday through Friday, I would, Friday might go out or something, although strike wasn't going out. But I would do it on the weekends. And it taught me shots. Like it literally was A, B, C. And also it was the shows, because like at that time it was 2.5 Men. But 2.5 Men is just it's two guys and a kid.
Little kid, yeah.
So you always got more cameras than actors.
Right.
So you could figure it out all the time. It's when you would watch Friends or Living Single or anything that's where there was more actors than cameras, that's when it gets a little harder.
I was in a situation with Chuck Lorre once, and I remember asking him, I said something like, how do you get away with all the shit you get away with on that show? And he went, well, this is a version of what he said, so don't be quoting me. So he said something like, we record it one way when the suits are there, and then I go back in and I do it my way, and then that's how I deliver it. And I was like, oh, that's some bullshit.
It's true. Wait,
That's
and
cool.
I'll tell you that story. So during strike, I wrote him a letter.
Really?
And I was like, I'm just a fan of the style of writing that you're doing in the shows. And I told him, he took a meeting with me.
Did it really?
Yeah, he gave me like 15 minutes. But it was a good 15 minutes.
Hey,
And he let
that's
me shadow on Big Bang when it was
Wow.
first starting off.
Really?
And it was dope because they had tried a bunch of different directors. And then they had brought back Mark Sandrowski, who became the house director, did 200 episodes.
Right.
And the lesson I learned from watching him was, Chuck, he had a personality, right?
Yeah.
So Mark would show him the scene the way he wrote it, and then he would go. It was a scene where Sheldon was in the bathtub, and Mark had a better way of doing it, right? And so he showed it that way, and then afterward he goes, and we want to show you this, and he showed the other way, and then Chuck just went like that, and I was like, oh, what does that mean? Next day it was in the script. So it was a lesson of.
Yes.
Writers spend 8 weeks working this stuff out.
Right.
Show, don't say.
Right.
So show it first,
Right.
and then the moment you could just, and then show it their way, then do yours, or do the add-on or the leaf of the tree, whatever you're adding, and then everybody's open to it. But if you go in there trying to change stuff right away, you're burying yourself.
For sure,
you're
for sure.
burying yourself.
So let's get into your background.
Yes.
Where you from and how'd you get into the game?
So
Okay, that's enough.
So I'm from Cleveland, Ohio State, everything, Ohio all day. We're national champions, thank you, I have to say. And we were the first black family in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood.
Okay.
I went to Catholic schools, and my grandparents grew up in the hood. And I have to give context to this hood. They had a 4-bedroom house that right before the strike, we sold for $11,000.
Jesus
Which
Christ.
is 8 take home because the realtors still take that percentage.
Yeah.
So in a 7-day period, I was in all these different neighborhoods because we have a lot of money. My dad worked out of town. My mom was an educator. So I had to learn different cultures all the time. I was 3 years old, and the first time we moved the neighborhood, they spray painted. Some friends came to visit. They spray painted the N-word on the car.
Right.
So I learned the N-word at 3. So my dad got a German Shepherd, for
Right.
protection because he didn't want to move.
That
Like
was
he
a
was a
big difference
Jefferson.
back then.
He was
German
moving up,
Shepherd.
right? That was his thing. So then I got a paper route at 8. And so he came, he'd come home on the weekend, and one time he was like, you can't take your dog with you anymore. I was like, why can't I take my dog? The entire north side of the street were concentration camp survivors. So
Really?
here we are, a black family walking around with the dog of their oppression.
Oh.
So I wrote a little letter. He had me write little letters. He didn't want no trouble, right?
Triggers,
They were
yeah.
so nice. But what they would do was tell me stories about the Holocaust
Okay.
and how their survival. So I get all that. Then I go see my grandparents on the weekends or later in the week, and they're in the hood, in the hood. And what's funny is I was watching Found, and they didn't do the storyline like it. But if you look it up in Cleveland, if you want to know what the neighborhood was, that's where they found the guy that had the 29 bodies, and the girl escaped out the window. And there's this barbecue shop on the corner that they kept getting, everybody bought the food there, and they kept the health inspector kept coming out, and they was like, it always stinks around here. But when they would check out the place was fine.
Wow.
What it was in back that lot in the back is where all the bodies were.
Wow.
And
Was it
took-
the cook or the chef or something?
no, it was the guy in the house over there. There's like 2 houses down.
got it.
Yeah, it was 2 houses down. So I love different types of, I was in that culture. So my first movie my dad took me to was a James Bond movie.
Okay.
And because I grew up in all this different stuff, when I came out of the movies, like, did you like it? And I go, I do. I said, but I have a question. He said, what's the question? I said, are there any black secret agents? And he said, the best thing, he said, there are, we just haven't seen them yet.
That's good.
And it lit the thing in me where I would now go to anything I would watch and pretend I was in it.
Okay.
So it worked for everything. Like Indiana Jones get a little tough when you're the black man running through Germany, but I was Brandon when 90210. I was Black Brandon before they did the Black Brandon version. Like I would always put myself in the story and then try to what would it be if I would do it?
Okay.
And that's a form of storytelling. And so I went to Ohio State, didn't know anybody, I started probably made an architecture, because in Ohio at that time, nobody's gonna believe you can tell a story. Even to this day when I moved, a bunch of my friends were like, you gonna do what? Like they didn't, and I had tons of film school there.
Now they calling you, I got a story.
It's different now, yeah. And so, and a friend of mine was black, and that's the thing about representation. A friend of mine who was black was walking across campus carrying a film camera. And I was failing out of school, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm in the film school. I was like, they got a film school? I followed him, sat in the back of the class, changed my major, changed my life that day.
Interesting.
Moved out here, didn't know anybody. My uncle used to play for Harlem Globetrotters.
Okay.
But then he was a retired bus driver, so he had emphysema, bronchitis, and asthma. And the deal was I would take care of him by day, and he lived in Orange County, lived right across the street from Disneyland. And then I would get a job at night. So I moved out here, but I'm an hour away. Yeah. So it's basically you're not even here. You're not even here. You're here, but you're not here.
Right. Did you have a car?
Yeah, I had a car.
Hold on. I gotta ask you this. I don't ask everybody this, but I ask some people this.
Yeah.
How much money did you come with?
Like $200.
See?
Yeah, I had to stay with him.
It's
I had to
important.
stay with him.
It's
Yes.
important.
You know.
Circumstances are important. So I always tell people, moving here is about sacrifice. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice or not. When I moved here from San Francisco, I was one of the top hairstylists in San Francisco. I was making $80 a haircut, you know what I mean, something like that, which was a lot in like 1996. Anyway, and I moved here and I started working at Supergirl. It was the hardest shift for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To adjust to this. So I'm always curious what you're willing to sacrifice to come here.
Oh yeah, no, and then
And I had $1,600 in my pocket.
Wow. Yeah, no, I didn't have it because I didn't have $200, but my dad drove me out. Where I also found out I had 3 brothers that I didn't know about, but that's a story for another day.
I know, wait.
You have all these movies in
Right.
there. I am like hearing lots of different series.
Yeah, I guess so.
Great.
But yeah, so I would drive at night. I'd get jobs at night, and just take care of him. And then finally he passed away, and then I moved up to LA. And what's funny is my roommate, who was my friend, like 20 years now. He was from Cleveland too. My mom was working at John Carroll University in multicultural affairs, and so she hooked us up. And then we became roommates for a long time. And I got a job on the show, and then got him a job on the show, and we were just PAs together, and just literally from the bottom up, like job. And then, but my dad gave me some good advice. He said, take the road less traveled. And since I was younger than everybody, I would literally pick the worst show. Whatever show had the lowest rating, that's what show I would try and get a job on.
Interesting.
And so...
Okay, wait a minute. Talk about that. Why?
Because there's less competition. Nobody wants to be there. And so...
So you can come up faster.
Yeah, so you can come up faster. So it was a lot, it was a lot of stuff on the WB, UPN when they combined, but they were the lowest one show. Catch what that is, they get canceled. So you, whatever promotion you get, at the next year, that show may not be there. You may have to start. But it was a time when those production companies, those people would go to the next thing.
For sure.
And they would remember, and then you would work it up. So I was everything was like a year and a half. I was a PA for a year and a half, then an AD for a year and a half, second AD, then a second, and then a first for a year and a half. So fast that in the DGA you have to have a certain number of days.
Right.
And everything switched to digital. And I actually was already a first, but didn't have enough days to stay as a first. I had to go back to being a second. For like 3 years, and then Disney Channel, 2 years, and then Disney Channel was starting, and I was trying to figure out what didn't get canceled, and it was on a Saturday, and you remember the Peter Ingle shows, I was like, this stuff been on for like a decade, they never canceled kid shows, and Disney was starting That's So Raven, and the thing about, as an AD, and I don't know if it's changed, but I know for a fact, when I was coming up, if the cast was black, or if the cast was all women, if you were black or a woman, that's where you needed to go find work. You weren't going to get the crossover, right? And as an AD, you're that connecting point between production and the cast. Right. So Raven was all black. I chased that job down for 6 months. And what's funny is my dad we had an interesting relationship, but we got in this big fight. He was like, you need to give up and go be a teacher. And I was like, I can't teach people to follow their dreams and not follow mine.
Exactly.
I started talking. You know how when you're adult, when you're young, I started talking stuff. I said, I'm going to get this show, and it's going to make me a director, and the first thing I'm going to do is buy you a ticket to Hawaii, and you ain't going to say nothing. And literally all of it came true.
Really?
And I bought him the ticket to Hawaii.
Hey.
And what was the trip is, they had their layover here. And we hadn't talked. This is like 2 years. We didn't talk. We stopped talking. Like he'd done that a couple times in my life. So I had some dark stuff. But he had stopped talking to me. He didn't talk to me all through high school. But he had stopped talking to me again. So I'm used to it by this time. Right. Also, I'm grown, right? So when I bought him the ticket, we had a layover, and he used to love to read the New York Times. So I was in the Valley, so I took him over to Van Nuys, where they had the little, the book stand thing outside, and bought him a New York Times. And when I came back, he goes, "You did good." And I knew that was his, I'm sorry, that was it. And I accepted it. I accepted it as it was. And then they went to Hawaii and went back. And then I was ADing, those shows. And then about the second or third year, I got to direct. And I loved directing. And then I loved going back and forth because you're part of the family. And the thing was, when I was talking about the road less traveled, because we did Hannah Montana, Sweet Life, what's the Wizard? The Wizard ones all came from our crew.
Okay.
I've never had a week off. We did one reason you're Raven. We did 36 episodes in a year.
Wow.
And in between, we did the pilots.
Okay.
And so I was always just constantly always working. And then what happened was they were doing a spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did the spinoff, there comes a point where you're on the rise, right? And you got a point where you gotta like go fly.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing for me was they were starting the season, and there was a director, and he was like, you know, the executive would just start hiring their friends. They should.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're always helping out, one of them was like, oh, you're gonna help me because I don't know what I'm doing. And I got scared. I was like, if I don't help me, now you're going to start to say something bad about me.
Mm-hmm.
And once that bad seed comes out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's that, and so I stopped for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the strike. And then, but it was by myself, kept at it. And then after the strike, I was gonna go shadow on Desperate Housewives, because kids shows was never what I wanted to do.
Your way in.
It was my way in, right? It was the way in, and you know, and they're
Was
big.
that what got you in the DGA?
Yeah, they're big and broad, but they're big and broad, so they're not grounded. But you're doing everything. You're doing effects, stunts. You know, the writers go watch Jurassic Park, and then they're trying to do dinosaurs on a $750,000 budget. So you got to figure out a way to make it look like there's dinosaurs with no money.
Right.
And you're always under the pressure. There's kid time. The catch is you'll never have more than a 12-hour day, right? But there's never a moment where you're not rushing.
Don't we know about working with
Oh
kids?
my
Yes.
God.
Right.
It's like the clock is moving backwards.
Yes.
Like crazy.
And to be honest, because Raven was the first, and this is a humble brag, they've adjusted it since then, but I'm just being 100% honest. I created the entire system, how to schedule all those shows,
Okay.
and they all followed it. They've now changed it to, you know, I used to, you know, in comedy they had the little rundown in the front of the script, and I would do the rundown to do schedule, but I would do split days where you could work them 4 hours, send them away.
So you scheduled it.
all that, and then I hired.
So you were ADing and directing.
I was AD and hired,
Wow.
and I hired actors to be stand-ins, not stand-ins to be stand-ins, because
That's smart.
they could do run-through,
Yeah.
they could do the rehearsals, and we never had time. So what would happen was you would block the scene in the morning, and then with the stand-ins, and the actors would walk on set, and the stand-ins would tell them all the stuff, and you go right to tape. They never
Wow.
rehearsed. They rehearsed during the week.
Wow.
There was no time. They never rehearsed on that.
Interesting, yeah.
But that was the system that I started. That
Okay.
they've now, you know,
Yeah.
it became the whole cornerstone of how they do
That's
all
right.
that stuff.
I like it.
That's
But
great.
yeah, that was that thing. So it was just one of those things where it's just like I wanted, you know, I was like, I'm free. So I got I was, you know, strike chilling, and then they were doing the show. I was going to shadow on Desperate Housewives, and they were starting this show called Sunday with a Chance with Demi Lovato, and it was a Friday night, and I had bought movie tickets. For some reason, I just didn't get up off the couch, but I think it was God or something. I don't know why I had these tickets, and I'm sitting here watching Degrassi or something, you know, because that's homework. There's still kids stuff, you know. I was like, and Degrassi was more adult, so I was like, oh, I can get into that. Like, you're just trying to find your avenue, right? They were like, I got a phone call, and they were like, we want to think about you for directing. Are you available? And I'm thinking, you know, when you're just starting out, you're gonna get the writer's assistants episode right before Christmas.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, sure. I said, when? And they were like, Monday. They said, can you come
It's the
in?
penultimate episode.
Yeah. I was like, can you come in on Sunday? So I'm all super excited, like, this is my shot. But then when I sat down, it was the whole network, and it was Brian Robbins, because he wasn't running Paramount. This was one of his shows. And this is not exaggeration.
Right.
Every one of them to a person told me the show was something different. So I went from the highest high to like, oh, this is going to be the end before it gets started.
Wow.
So I went home and I was just chilling, and 30 Rock was on. And the show, and Sunday with a Chance was a show within the show.
Right.
So I just watched 30 Rock, and then I just made these list of rules. So I came in Monday with, we're gonna show the kids what a show within the show is. So if it's a fake wall, they're gonna walk out in front of the audience. They're gonna do that. We're gonna do walk and talks behind the stand. I just said all this stuff, and everybody's like, okay. And then we did it, and it worked.
Really?
And then we kept doing it, and the next thing I know, I'd done 33 of them.
Wow.
And just kept doing it. But the catch is, and Denzel said this, first, whatever you do 3 times, that's what people see you as.
Yeah. Agreed.
So it became, I always say comparison is step to joy. So I always kept joy in my heart, but I could never get out of it. It was so hard to get out of.
Right.
And I didn't have, and because I had actually picked my agents instead of having agents pick me, I didn't really have, they were nice guys, but they didn't give me like the meeting, like how you do a meeting and all that. And at the Disney Channel, any director that survived and did good was because they knew their stuff. So I would go into meetings talking stuff, not doing anything personal, not telling my heart, my story, my thing because that's all I saw. Anybody that did good, it was all like the old head guys that used to do network shows and all that type of stuff. And so after a while, I could go into a meeting and I could tell in 2 seconds if the meeting was going to be good. I walk in the meeting, I look on their desk. If they had pictures of kids, I had a shot. If they had no pictures of kids, I had no shot.
Interesting.
And the worst meeting ever was it.
Is it because you lean on the fact that you worked with kids before?
Because they don't watch that stuff. They don't watch that genre.
Right.
They're not. I didn't. Nobody. You don't watch. We don't watch. You watch it if you have kids.
Yeah.
If you don't have kids, you're not watching that stuff.
Sure.
So I could say I did a whole episode on green screen. And I know how to do all these visual effects and do it for cheap. They're not seeing it. And then when they see it, it's not $7 million. It's not Game of Thrones.
For sure.
It's Game of Dollars, right? So it's not. But the process of directing is the process.
It's still the same.
Yeah. Whether you're doing something big end or low end, the process is the process. And so
I have this, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I have this philosophy. I said it many times on the show. I think there's only 3 things that separate network from indie world.
Mm-hmm.
It's money, people, and turnaround.
Yeah.
And let me explain to you why. Here's just my philosophy. I'm quoting KRS-One, my philosophy. So here's what it is. Money, when you're doing a network show, you got $3 million an episode, let's just say, on a general. On an indie film, you're making the whole thing for several $100,000, let's just say. People, you got hella people on the bigger budget set. On a low budget, it might be 20, 30, 40, 50 of you at the most, right? Turnaround. So on a film, or let's say on a TV show, good as well, you got 2 weeks to turn in your cut to the network and blah, blah, blah. The editor did the version, blah, blah, blah. Indie world, we're going through it now. You will work with your editor. You think you're going to be done in a month or 2. And then you go, well, let's make a shift somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Let's bring in somebody else. It just happens, right? That's just our example. Other examples are, my friend Lou is a dope-ass editor who could do this for us. He just did a film that's at Sundance, right? Just generalizing for you, Lou. We know this is you, by the way. He just did a film at Sundance. Let's bring him in to edit this project. He's like, cool, I'll help you guys. Just give me this amount of money. You're like, cool. But it'll be on my time. This is the indie world. So now the turnaround went from, we finished April 3rd, here it is September before he even starts.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's, you see, they're all the same.
Yep.
It's just, the urgency's different.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Anyway, go ahead.
Which is true, which is the axis of how the whole process happens and everything. So that's true.
I want to go back. You said something really interesting, Eric. You said how people see you is what you do 3 times, the
Yes.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for directors and editors, you get hired for what you've already done. So they're going to look at your reel, right? And so the most time they're going to interview you, it's because you've got something that they connect with, but it's something you've already done. It's not what you're doing. A writer can write themselves a new genre, and an actor gets an audition for a new genre. They can, like all the comedy actors that go into drama, they can present themselves in a new way. Not saying it's easy for either one of them, but they're not necessarily prejudged on somebody spending 2 minutes looking at something. And so when you start, it's easier, and you can ask any director across the board, it's easier to start high and stay high than to start low and stay low. The 4 steps of a director is, who's Eric? Get me Eric. Get me somebody like Eric. Who's Eric? And every time you jump genres, you start over.
Right.
I'm on genre number 9. I've started over 9 times.
Wow.
I don't know when I'm going to get caught or when it's not going to work. But if you know me growing up, there is no one genre.
They're all facets of you.
They're all facets of me.
That's part of your brand.
That's my yes.
Because you don't fit into a box.
It is, but when you go into a meeting, especially now because everything's contracted and you're interviewing and all that, everybody that's going to chime in is going to want something. But I've started to remind people, when you create your writer's room, you can have somebody that's funny, you can have somebody that's dramatic, you can have somebody that's science fiction if it's fantasy, you can have somebody like that.
Right.
If you hire me as a director or hire a director that's done a bunch of genres, you have an extension of your writer's room on set.
That's a
Where
good
you
point.
don't if you just pick one person down one avenue.
That's true.
And so that's...
I usually like somebody who talks to the themes that I'm talking about.
Yep.
Like for a mermaid, for our film, we wanted somebody with a European style because she has a European style of directing.
Who's got a real tail.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Wow. Do you do the siren sound?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I like somebody who talked to the themes of them, because then I know they understand the core
Yep.
of the heart that we're trying to get to, not just like, oh, they can make it look pretty.
Right.
You know, a lot of people can do that. But
Yeah,
can
we
they-
looked at TV, you know,
Yeah.
like where there was a woman that she did some beautiful stuff on another film, but it wasn't, it was very flat in my opinion. And, but it worked for some of the other stuff that she was in terms of the comedy,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't the framing that I liked.
Right.
So I think it's just knowing kind of how you can bring a different aesthetic or your own aesthetic in a broad and specific, interesting, creative way to whatever you're pitching.
And that's the perfect way to do it because your movie is telling one story.
Right.
But on a show, you're telling a different story
Sure.
each week. Some
Yeah.
of them are continuous, some of them are independent. So yes, maybe
But
that
the
person.
tone stays the
tone
same.
stays the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
So maybe this person, maybe I don't fit this episode,
Right.
but if this episode's got a little bit of this and that, you know, or if it's a show that has a little bit of everything, you go, oh no, he does fit that episode, or he or she, whoever it is, right? So yes, that's actually a great way to do it. So that's the whole thing. But because it's so competitive, and it's always has been, you know, and when you get judged for what you've already done, it's hard to go up. It's hard to start low and come high. And so I started Multi-Camera Kids, and then, like I said, hit the wall.
What did you do to shift you to the next thing?
So I took a meeting at Warner Brothers with a named Chad Kennedy,
Okay.
and I finally told my story.
Oh, okay.
And and here's the thing, he had no kids. So I walked into that meeting thinking it was over, and I was frustrated, and I was just talking because of frustration. But in the middle of the meeting, he all of a sudden sat up, and when he sat up, I was like, "What just happened?" And so then he asked. And I wasn't gonna go there, but he asked
He
again.
connected there.
He connected there,
Yeah,
and then he
yeah.
re-asked the question.
Interesting.
And then I just started telling him the story,
Right.
and it was just a nice conversation. And I left. And you ever do meetings at Warner Brothers 137 with the guy? It was a Friday with the guys playing the horn and all that.
Yeah.
And so when I went out, he's like, "How'd it go?" And I sat and talked to him for a while, and I go, I don't know, but something just happened. And so I reran it in my head, and it was
Right.
the moment I was like, it was speed dating. I told my personal story. I told why,
Yes.
not what.
So,
Right.
two things. I had a similar thing happen to me. It's when I shifted my story to tell you my story about growing up in the hood, being the gay little punk rock rude boy dude. All that shifted when I was at ABC having a meeting, and I started telling him my story. He's like, "Oh, I grew up in New York. I lived around the corner from CBG." I went, "What you know about CBG?" And we just started going in about punk rock stuff. And he did the lean in. I
Yes.
was like, "Oh." When I left, he said, "Hill, do me a favor." I said what he says. Always tell that story. And I was like, who wants to know about that? He was like, that's why you're different.
Yep.
You're not just a regular dude from the hood. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was like, oh, bars. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I relate
That's
to that.
and I'll tell anybody going to a meeting, that's your work. You got there, so they saw your work,
Right.
or they read your resume on IMDb. You know, sometimes whatever. What makes you you?
Right.
And that's what you're bringing to whatever it is you're going to do anyway. And that was the first time I didn't talk about I know how to do all the shots, I know how to do all this, I do kids and hours and all that. I just straight told my story,
Right.
and I got a multi-camera sitcom, Bill Lawrence,
Okay.
called Undateable, and he was
Ooh.
super dope.
I love
And
Bill.
Randall Winston was the producer, who's super dope. He's
Bill's
like
a
producer
superstar
director.
right there.
Oh, he's like now he's like
Yeah,
he's literally
superstar.
found that level
Exactly.
where he's and you see it when you watch those shows. You go because he's bringing a little bit of the old with his new.
Yeah.
You
You
know.
watch his little videos he does? He's
Yeah.
hilarious.
No, he's dope. He was so dope.
Yeah.
He was so dope to me too, because I could tell by the first day he didn't really know who I was or whatever. But at one point, I'm very, I'm serious because it's comedy. These guys, they were all comedians.
Right.
Dateable was, I can't air it because there was a Me Too thing, but those dudes were hilarious. And so when you trying to add a leaf on the tree, when you're trying to stay up with true comedians, I'm focused like a laser, like where can I add a little, and it's Bill, like this man Scrubs, the show with Michael J. Fox, I forgot the name of it, but
OG.
yeah, so I'm like, where can I impress, right? So I'm like, and one boy he goes, when you laugh, I know it's funny. And then I was like, oh, I need to relax. I was like, I'm like this. Because I was like, this is funny. Like,
The stakes are high for us.
The stakes are high for us.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been waiting forever. That's the window.
Right.
And so then that was then, and that led to doing some multi-camera comedies.
Okay.
And then I had my own graphic novel.
That's
and
right.
so,
Hold on, before you get into it, let me say something really quick. Here's Welcome to Hollywood, which I just
yeah.
Here's one of the things I love about you, Eric, is not only the fact that you're able to do all these genres, But you do a version of what I try to help writers to do and filmmakers is, we talked about this in an episode a week or so ago about how most writers, like I think writers should still be doing spec scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably think they should be doing shorts as a filmmaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they should.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is here's where I was going with all this is sometimes what happens is the things you learn are the things that's going to help you, right? So the thing I love about you is you showed people that you could do black shows and white shows. So you're not just a straight run-of-the-mill. That's why I'm telling people, like when Insecure was out, this is just general, by the way. It seemed like every black writer, female that I knew was writing Insecure. I'm like, no, show them that you could write the Goldbergs or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Whoever, you know what I mean? Show them you could do something different. Don't be the obvious thing. And that's, I think, what helped me. I always was going over there to the other thing. So, you know, anyway, that's the thing I love about you.
I'm going to circle back on that and tell you a story about how that was when I got to one of the levels that what that changed, how that changed everything too. And so then I created this graphic novel because my dad always told me that story about never seeing a secret agent look like us. Right. So it was big, it was fantasy, all this other stuff, and I took it to Comic-Con. And when I get to Comic-Con, if you go, when you're on that floor, you just see giant monitors of Star Wars and everything, and everything's big. And everybody walking around looking up, and nobody's looking down at you. So I was like, I'm gonna shoot a short. I'm gonna shoot a short for the book.
Right.
And 6 minutes, 134 visual effects, not a single joke in it, all that stuff. All of a sudden, people were like, "Oh, I didn't know you had that in your wheelhouse." You don't know what I have in my wheelhouse, but it got me. This is what's crazy.
Right.
It got me. Modern Family and Life in Pieces.
With that?
Yes,
This was amazing.
because it showed there was something else there. And so I started with Life in Pieces, Modern Family, and by the way, loved them both. And Modern Family, smartest comedy writer room I've ever seen it. They would talk about the theory of a joke. So you know you're sitting there like. Just soaking it in, you know. But also, right. And what was crazy about them is, if you ever remember Modern Family, is they had 3 storylines, so they were never always together. Right. But I got the episodes when it was always all of them together.
Oh, really?
And so I remember my first one, and the house they built. The house is a real set that they built all the way in, but they built it a little wide because it's documentary style, so the cameras are in there, so they're whipping right through you and all this other stuff. So you have to watch. I like to be close right behind the camera, right, so I can talk to the actors and keep it personal. But there you had to be out in the room. And so every time they would cut, you could look down, and after like 3 takes, I saw Ed O'Neill get up and start walking, and I was like, oh, he's ready to be done. And I was like, just got inserts and pickups, Ed. I can do that. Turn around and sat back down. But that's that. You as a director, you have to start. You have to read people. You have to read the room. You have to always be open. And so I had the best time. They were so nice. Loved it. And then what happened was I was like, I want to do drama. I was like, I finally. And then I took a meeting at Oprah's company.
You see right here?
Yeah. And got Greenleaf, which was and I wanted to, but they wanted to do before Christmas. I was like, no, I spent the entire Christmas season, watched 3 seasons of Greenleaf. Wow. Every single episode. Because there was no way, if I got this one shot, I need to know everything about that show. And sure enough, so when we got in that meeting, started talking, I could quote things from, obscure things from different things, so they was like, boom. So then that was the starting over again. And then to relate back what you said about getting, crossing over with people with race. So I wanted to, Berlanti was always like a goal. I grew up loving comic books. Definitely wanted to do the whole Berlanti Arrowverse world. It was very, very hard to get into. But I ended up getting Supergirl.
Oh, that's right.
And
did they see that?
They saw that.
Okay. Tell them what it is, by the way.
It's called Legend of the Mantamaji. It's about a shallow, conceited district attorney who finds out he's the last in a race called the Mantamaji, used to protect us from the forces of evil. So he's basically the last person you would ever want to be a hero. Has to defend us against an evil sorcerer who's been resurrected in New York City and posing as a religious leader. So it's sword and sorcery set in modern day with people of color. But it looks superhero-y. It's not.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's on your website, ericdeanseaton.com. What's up? Oh, yeah.
It was visually stunning.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I mean, was that real? I mean, the budget on that. I mean, I know you have to be scrappy.
You're scrappy on the budget, but this is another thing to encourage people to go shorts. It's a tax write-off if it's a business.
Yeah, sure.
So, and by the way, the next year when I didn't shoot short, I had to pay that money, and that's when I realized the next year I was like, that's that's as much money as the shirt. I could have shot it on the shirt. It's the but
You give it to me.
that's what all the corporations do though. That's what all the studios do. It's a tax write-off.
It's a tax write-off.
So no, but it opened up the door. So then I got Supergirl, and I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. They didn't have a lot of directors of color.
Yeah.
That's their main girl. She and I got along great. I did the show great. That opened up the window because it wasn't. I was doing the black superhero show. It's a black guy doing the white superhero show, and that's an honest thing. I'm not saying that in disrespect to anybody. I ended up getting the deal with Berlanti. Did all of them for 2 years. Okay. But I had to go during COVID. I had to go live in Vancouver for 6 months. I couldn't come back home.
Wow.
But I got to do everything I wanted to do.
Were you with your girl by then?
Yeah, married, got kids, so I haven't seen them. This is twice now. I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
I've missed a whole year of their life, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
I did it when we went to South Africa for Average Joe, and I had to do it for the Berlanti thing. But both times, that's why I have a great wife and great kids. And both times, it was such a jump. Like I could do all of them. Like who gets to do all of the superhero genre shows? And then for Average Joe, I get to be a producing director. I'd never been a producing director before.
Let's tell the kids, for the people who don't know, what is a producing director?
So
how does it work?
Producing director is the main director that's there every day. Right. He helps mold the show, helps guide with the other directors. He does a lot of the pickup shots and things they can't get. He probably does the most or equal to the most episodes, and he sets the tone.
I would say, do you usually direct the pilot?
I do. Yeah, I did the pilot, Average Joe. Right. And then didn't direct the first season, so I did the pilot and the second episode left. Okay. And then for this season in South Africa, they're like, we need a producing director. Well, they knew after I left they needed one, but Anyway, so then this season I did it. So I went down and did the first two, and then stayed there the whole time, and would help out shooting different stuff, just help set the tone. And now I'm in post, and I'm still going through it all the way through. And Rob, our creator, genius, brilliant person, he lets me do everything. The only thing he does the sound spotting. But for me, it's great because I never did sound spotting before. Yeah. So he comes in there, I'm just like, at the same time I'm adding a little bit, I'm watching him, learning exactly what I'm listening to, how to mix it, how to do all that type of stuff. And we mixed we blocked 4 episodes, we mixed 201 this coming Friday, which is I did. And so I'm doing all the meetings, doing all the stuff, and helped out the directors. And by the end, our last director, really great director, he had to leave. Because what happened was, sadly, Dion got sick. Right. So we had to shut down for a day, and then we had to shoot 2 weeks without him. And then for the last 2 weeks, he was in every scene, so it was all his stuff. So I ended up shooting the last day. And how the universe works, I can't give away any spoilers, but the last day that I shot, the entire storyline related back to before the pilot and things you heard about before the pilot.
Oh, interesting.
So it was like a full circle moment. All these things that he says in the pilot, we actually see in this last episode, and I got to do it. And I was like, whoa! And I didn't even realize halfway shooting, I was like, oh wait, this is that moment. This is that moment. Like all the moments that we built from the pilot, I got to do.
I like it.
So producing a great job. I never aspired to be a producing director because you're
locked in. It's like
you're locked in.
Overall, right?
You're locked in, right? You can't go.
Right.
But I enjoyed the experience, having that much say.
So they shot it in South Africa.
In Cape Town, and it looks like a movie. It's the most beautiful. When you see it, the amount of. So here's the thing. We want all the work to come back to LA, and we do. Yeah. But going that far away, so they gave us a certain amount of money for season 1. Sure. Through our everything that we won, they had to go to a higher number for season 2. They offered less money for season 2, and that's the new thing. And we could talk about that. They offered less money, but that less money equaled the high money if you went to Cape Town.
The incentives and
all that other stuff, and then. And Michael Trucco is one of who plays Touch on it, and he did Battlestar Galactica. He was just doing something with the Russo brothers, and we were sitting on this harbor, and he's like, "This looks big."
That's the white guy, right?
Yeah, he's like.
I worked with him.
Oh, he's dope. He's such.
I worked with him on Pensacola.
Yeah, that's what he directed it. That was his first big thing.
I did a guest star on that show.
Oh,
back when I was an actor.
Yeah.
And all my scenes were with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, no, he's dope. And we were talking about that. And we were sitting on the harbor. And so think about South Africa. We're shooting at this harbor. There's water, there's shanties up on the mountain, there's lights, so all the lights from the shanties are reflecting in the water. And he's like, he just came back from shooting the Russo brothers, that thing with Priyanka Chopra that they do for Amazon, right? And he goes, this looks bigger than that. Because everywhere you go, even in Vancouver, I shot at the harbor I did the early edition pilot. We shot at the harbor, but you can only aim in this direction. Because when you aim in that direction, there's extra and all the stuff you can't afford.
We had the same thing. Everywhere we turned the camera, it was like perfect.
Cape Town, we get aim everywhere.
Wow.
And so the scope is
So the permit is
ridiculous.
like wherever you want to go.
We went to the desert, sand dunes desert. We blew up a boat.
Right.
We did some crazy stuff.
Nice.
And so it looks, it's phenomenal. Like it's, I don't think, you know, it's as if I got the big check and got to do the big thing.
Yeah.
And so I hope when everybody sees it, the thing about a network like that, one of the things is like, but you still gotta get people to watch it. Like if it was on Amazon, Netflix, everybody's watching it. If you can get that exec to sit down and watch it, and then explain how you did it for this little money and this little time and this little stuff, yeah, then you're like, boom. But that's the thing, getting people to invest in it and all that stuff.
Why, talk about like, I mean, why, it's crazy if it was so beautiful and successful the first season, why would they give you less?
Because that's the
What it's
business
about
now.
is
Because
just-
what's changed with the business is everybody used to invest in the 5-year run.
Yep.
And you make a show, and also remember they were getting money back from advertising. So you guys have your show, you take it to NBC. NBC, it's cost $1 million. NBC's only going to give you $500,000. So you have to come up with the other $500,000. It's not costing NBC anything because now they're selling advertising, so that's paid for them. So they're making money. But if you can get that show for 5 years, then you sell it 7 different times to 7 different people. You make 10 times that money back. The thing that's changed with streaming is that they're putting out the 45 million or the 50 million or the 80 million for 8, 10, 12 episodes, but they're keeping it themselves. So the only money they're getting is the money that all the subscription money. They're not selling it 7 different times to 7 different people.
Yep.
So they're tired of, and
Which
because
messes with our residuals.
right,
Yeah.
and because they're no longer playing the long game because of Wall Street and it's all about showing you good stock market, then they can't keep spending more money each time unless you have Stranger Things or unless you have something that's so big that it's gonna blow up. And so they galvanized themselves. It's great. We needed Netflix. Netflix is fine. Why everybody had to do it? I have no idea. Because they weren't built that way. You were built to sell. Built to sell 7 different times to 7 different people, and then resell it. You know, like last summer like how Suits blew up on Netflix. By the way, the CW lasted 10 years with the Netflix deal,
Crazy.
and then the moment that they canceled that deal, and CBS and Warner Brothers had to pay for all that stuff themselves, and they weren't getting that check, they canceled them. Because the CW would still be around today if they just kept that deal going, because Netflix was playing crazy money. And by the way, like All American, my son watches All American now. It just aired. It's doing huge because it gets there and everybody can watch all of it. And so all that is Blockbuster. That's what Blockbuster was. That's the Friday night when I would go rent the movies. And you know, so yes, there's that place. Why everybody had to do it. Maybe Disney did. I would say this. When my kids were at the age when Netflix was kind of really taking off, and they would watch all the shows that I did or all those shows and thought they were on Netflix. So it made sense for Disney to keep their brand. You know what I mean? And maybe Paramount, Nickelodeon, it makes sense to keep their brand. Although Nickelodeon is still rerunning their stuff on cable. But it hasn't made sense for everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and if you notice, they're pulling stuff off of their streamer now to resell it. Because it's probably, and they won't tell you, but probably nobody's watching it there. But if they can sell it, somebody will rewatch it. You know what I mean? The entire Comedy Central or whatever, all those type of things, you know? Like, put it somewhere. So, I mean, that's the way the business was built. And unless, and by the way, I also don't think whining about how it used to be is the solution, because I don't think that it's going back. I think we just have to adjust to it. But that's been the big difference.
I think that's why so many, like, I'm one of those people, like, I don't think you can be a writer anymore. You have to be a writer and a filmmaker. Like, you have to be a writer and producer. You have to be something more than just one thing now. You have to be a hyphenate. One of the things I liked about, so we watched your movie this week, right? The short.
Yeah.
And I can't pronounce it. How do you say it?
Mantamani.
Mantamani.
Yeah, I did. That's the only
what I
thing
said.
I messed up on the way home. We did research. Went to Comic-Con one time. We were coming back, and we were trying to think of names, and we both thought that was a good name. And now I'm like, that wasn't a great name. but what's funny is I think it's been in the universe long enough that people don't mispronounce it now. People come up to the booth and they say it now. You know, and people that don't look like me come up, and so I'm like,
here's what I was gonna say though. Going from an AD to a director is the transition. Like going from a writer to producer is the transition.
Right.
One of the things I noticed watching the behind the scenes, the how you guys made it, was you were so comfortable on the set. I mean, I noticed little things like that. You were so chill. Everybody's like, you're like calm. Like you have the same energy you do when you're being interviewed. When you're talking.
No, that's my happy.
Same energy.
It's my happy place, and I would say for any up and coming directors, even if you're nervous, fake it. Fake it till you make it. You got to. Part of directing is acting. You're the leader. They're watching you 24/7. what the energy you put out is the energy that everybody receives. But I like set. Like I actually like, I like talking to people and hearing their stories more than mine. I think I get tired of listening to myself. I get bored. But I love like talking to people and being on set and like all that type of stuff. But yeah, no, I'm happy on set. There's no.
It's my favorite. And I like the writer's room in the set. Those are my favorite.
I still. Here's the thing too. The first time I got a chance to direct, we did a scene and it was only 2 people and it was 4 cameras. And I remember the associate producer, a friend of mine, was like, in the back, you know, she's like, oh, all the cameras are shooting the same thing. And I was like, oh shit. And then we took a 5, we went in the bathroom, and I got in the bathroom and I was like straight sweating. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, fool, you got 1 shot.
Right.
Like, are you gonna blow it or you not?
You gotta lose yourself in the movement.
I stopped being nervous. I stopped being nervous at that moment.
Yeah.
And so if I'm extra quiet, then maybe there's something I don't know and I'm trying to figure it out. But for the most part, but you're not gonna see the difference. Are you just gonna see me being more quiet than normal? Right. You know what I mean? But the more I'm there,
you're thinking.
I'm thinking. Yes, I'm processing. I'm thinking.
Right.
But the more I'm there, the more you see me, the louder I get. So yeah.
Have you had that moment where you're kind of like, you know, how do I set this up? And then, giving the actors the direction of like, I know that Ed Zwick has talked about that long walk to the actor. Like, what are you going to say to them? The adjustment. Have you ever had those moments where you're something's not working?
And I lead with truth. And I don't have a hesitation to say I'm wrong or sorry or this is what I'm thinking. But if you lead with truth, you don't get caught. Because if you start lying, and somebody says something, then you got to tell another lie. You can't get back on track, right? And I prep really, really hard. So I prepped out 17 different scenarios while we're doing stuff. But I will say one other thing you have to do is you have to let the actors go first. Because their first shot is their best shot. Because the actor prepares for that character and what that character would do.
Right.
And if you start chopping them down before they even prepare it, you're not getting anything. They'll either shut down or you're losing it. And so right away, I've been on sets where I had this whole thing worked out, and they came up with something completely different, and and that's when you just gotta lean on the shield and go for the ride.
Right. You're like, oh, that actually does work.
Because it does work. Because if you chop it off, they're gonna shut down on you. If they shut down on you, you're done, right? And also, you're not getting the best thing, your best work. And remember, you're still, especially in TV, unless you write it yourself, you're transitioning what somebody else wrote. You're bringing their work to life, right? So you're taking ownership to take it to the next level, but it's still theirs too. So you gotta make them feel great about it. And actually, if you can add something to it, then they really let you go. They really let you run. So you have those moments and stuff. So I have them where you're walking, and then you're trying to figure it out and all that. But I kind of lead with honesty and stuff. And for the most part, people are kind of cool. I don't think I've ever really.
I was just about to ask you, how do you deal with a difficult actor or even a different crew? Somebody on the crew?
I haven't really. I've had a few, and then I'm just honest with them. I don't.
Do you like pull them aside, take them for a walk? Like, what do you do?
I've never really pulled anybody aside. I'll just go right up to them and have a conversation, and talk quietly to them, or go to them, or check in with them. I do the check-in a lot, check in in the morning, check in during the day, and all that type of stuff. Most of it's on set. I have some directors, friends that go and do a whole meeting before them, and I think it's great. I've done that on pilots where we sit down and do all this stuff before, but I kind of I want you to know that when you're coming to set, your idea is going to be heard. So I'm like sitting in the cut, waiting. I'm telling you where you're starting. I'm telling you where my ideas are. And it also depends on the scene. If it's a big action sequence, I'm walking in and telling everybody everything along the way. And nobody's messing with you because they have no idea. They just know what they're supposed to be doing actually. They did not think this whole thing through and all that stuff. If it's a scene where 2 people are talking, that might just be where you start, where you're going. And then there's certain things you need. I need you to be at this point for here because of. And then you got the reason why. And if you have the reason why, then they'll go, okay, but then I can do this with it. Yeah, absolutely. That type of thing. Or if especially a single camera, if it gets crazy, you could go that way, but it's going to be 2 or more setups. Nobody wants that unless they want it, and then they'll, okay, all right, and then you can kind of narrow it in and all that type of stuff. But it is dicey because the difference between adults and kids, they got to come to work and do the thing. If an adult was cussing at their wife or their husband the next morning, and then they walk the set, you walking into it. You know what I mean? And
that's the thing with kids too. Is like when I worked with we had a 10-year-old the whole in every single scene, and they're going through all this stuff. And they were playing. They're non-binary, and so the character is trans. But I just was like, you are the character. like, do you want me to lower my voice? No, you are this character.
Right.
Just come from you.
Yeah.
This is just so allowing them those moments of being able to, let's see where you are, bringing your joy, because kids, if you note them and note them and note them, they are going to shut down, and then we're going to take longer.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like, but I noticed that there are some actors that are so in their head, it's just sometimes a little just breathing,
Yeah. And
getting
then
them right.
sometimes you just got to keep going. If
Yeah.
if you can see somebody's in their head, go again really quick.
Yeah.
Go again, and don't say anything to them. Just let them ride, and they'll wind. I've had that a few times. I had a show with a really wonderful actress where she had thought the whole scene was going to be outside, and then it was inside. It was 30 degrees out. I was like, no, it's going to be inside the car. And it took her a few takes to get it going. I said,
That's great.
just let her go. And then afterwards she said, thank you for helping me. And all I did was give her space
Right.
for her to, because she had prepped. She had this whole thing, thought that she was going to do here. I just moved it inside. And then afterwards she goes, I'm so glad you moved it inside. It makes total sense. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, 'cause it's cold out here too, you know. So, but yeah, but you gotta let them.
It's trusting our actors.
Yeah, you have to trust
You
them.
know.
They come with so much. They bring so much, just the subtlety that they can do. And by the way, the whole thing of acting is making it natural. I was watching the show. I won't say the show. This guy, he's gotten into acting and all that, and everything he was saying to his wife, and they're having trouble. He was saying it perfectly, but I could tell he was acting.
Yeah.
I could tell he wasn't just saying. You know what I mean? And the scene worked, but it didn't.
Right.
You know. So.
Did you make an adjustment?
It wasn't mine. I was watching
Oh,
this on TV.
okay, you're
No,
watching.
I'd have got him. I'd have got him. I'd have said, you got him. You know.
A little Uta Hagen there,
Yeah,
Stanislav.
calm down. Yeah, like you
Little
gotta.
private moment.
I just say
you know.
just say it again. Don't think about it. Just say it. Don't do anything extra. Just say the words. You know, as is.
So we have, you guys can't see us. Well, you can see us, but you can't see. There's probably 5 or 6 other people in the room. We have a bunch of people in the room, filmmakers themselves. I'd like to open this up to some questions.
My name is Dwayne Worrell. I
Good.
am a writer. I've been on shows like Fire Country and FBI. You answered a lot of the questions that I had. You do seem though, so that's why I have a new question now. You seem like the type of person who wants to do something, manifest it, and then goes to take that step towards getting it. In that case, what now is the next goal in your head? What is that next thing you are aiming towards? What should we maybe be looking for you doing in the future?
There's a whole list. I can name them.
Name them.
Yeah.
And they start with Cross, Fallout, Reacher, and the John Hamlin, Friends and Neighbors.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's the dream for right now.
All right.
Fallout is my tone.
I love Fallout.
Cross is the most unapologetic black show I've ever seen in my life. And the moment he said you had me at, I was like, I rewound it 3 times. Your Friends and Neighbors is like Average Joe.
Right.
It started off like Average Joe. That's how I got into it.
Right.
And Reacher's dope. Like it's just
Shout out to Ben Watkins. I'm
and the
very
night
proud to be a part of that.
Oh, he's dope. I listen to his
Developing that show. That was
listen to his podcast with him. He's dope. Like just when he was talking about how the emails,
Yes.
and how he lets people in. Like
Yes.
Amazing.
I sit there like, ooh, I wish
He's
I had
very,
that.
very specific.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yusuf.
And the Night Agent is dope too. Like,
Yeah.
But it's generalized. It's the next level of it's like the of Average Joe. But it's a start over. It's
Yeah.
another new genre. So
Yeah, for
hope
sure.
that's the number 9.
Yeah, Yusuf Nash, Air Force veteran, son of Iraqi immigrants, a huge nerd. Yeah, I mentioned earlier we were kind of like 1 degree off since I entered Berlanti, worked at WSPA Legacy, so thank you for coming. Great having you here. My one question for you is like, because it always feels like a director in television is kind of like a guest star. You kind of show up, do your thing, and leave. I'm kind of curious with all these, since like you worked in all these visual effects heavy shows, like. Do you have any input when it comes to like shooting these action sequences? Because like those visual department teams like kind of have to own
How do you
like
keep your voice?
director. Yeah, like so how do you keep your voice when like everyone else kind of is like, oh no, this is how we shoot things, or this is how we make the Flash run, or this is how we make Supergirl fly. Or,
Oh no, you have 100% say in how you do. Well, 2 things. Visiting director is like it's like renting a car. You get to go and do whatever you want with this car, but at the end of the day, you got to turn the car back in on damage, right, for the next person. But no, they would do. It was great. That's when you know that the visual effects showrunners have so. I mean, the show that if you do a show that has fantasy and all that stuff, those showrunners need more people because they have to spend 3 hours in a visual effects meeting. So when you get to those shows, they've kind of broken down what the different shots are, you know, and like what the visual effects is. Like this window's going to blow out and they're going to go flying. And they'll say, they'll have a budget like they could do it in 5 shots. But you break it down and you go, no, I can do it in 3. And then you know what your 3 shots are. And then you can now, they've taken the whole budget, now you can take those 2 extra shots and apply them to something else. So you have a total say in the entire making of it. What you don't have a say in is the final look because you're gone. You don't get to see it. Now, producing director, you are. Like, I'm doing all the visual effects and all that, and all the visual effects spotting meetings and all that. And I didn't realize that. You do it on pilot, because it's not called pilots, and you do it as a producing director. At least I think, at least I am. I don't know all producing directors do. I would hope so. But the visiting directors don't. They should create a day, because you get like 7 days prep, 8 days shoot, there's a minimum day. They should create a day where you get to come back and do it all. Now, you can ask to come in and see it all, and they're supposed to grant it. Most post supervisors try to, like, you know, push you out and all that stuff. And most directors are
tell
on to
everybody
something
how many
else.
days you have to do your cut.
You got 4 days.
Right.
4 days. If it's half hour, you got 2. If it's hour, you got 4. If it's high budget, you got 4 plus 2.
But
So-
see, sorry to interrupt you. I'm only saying this so people get it straight. It's not like you had to put that all together. Somebody's already assembled it for you. The editors assembled it for you.
Right.
They do their cut and then you come.
They do their cut.
Right.
They get a couple days. They do their cut, and then you got 4 days, and then you come and do your cut. And it depends on how you work. I like to do that fresh look thing,
Right.
so I do notes for the first 2 days
Okay.
and send it and go away and do something else and come back and watch it again. So every time I'm seeing it is brand new. And then the last day, I mean, for the last 4 years we couldn't go in. I got to go in on a show for the first time in 4 years back in May. But then I kind of sit down with you and we kind of, or Zoom will watch it through. We'll watch it through and all that type of stuff, and then kind of like fine tune it and all that type of stuff. And then the high budget, you get 4 days, and then you give it to a producer, and then they give you notes, and you get 2 more days. That was the new thing that they wanted.
And
in
the
last
network,
place.
and then you have.
So
all
then
the-
you're done, and then the producers get it, and then they got 4 days, and they give it to the network, and then it just starts going back and forth. So the network gets 4 days, and they go back and forth. So now, as a producing director, we're on the back and forth.
And how long is that process?
It varies. It depends on the show. It depends on how fast they like it,
Yeah.
and how fast you can turn the stuff around. But it's all happening at the same time. Like it's a machine.
Last thing I was just gonna ask, just in conjunction with that, and then we'll bring Jade in, is so the room is already stopped. They're out in production. They finish. Are you back in post
Yes.
working with them? So you come back
Yeah,
during post, or is it just a continuation in the post?
No, you can come. How do you mean? Like, do you mean as a producing director or as a
Yeah,
side?
as a producing director.
No, I'm still there. I'm there the whole
You're
time.
there the whole time.
So I've gone in. What's the best? The thing I love the best about this, and because it's not a time, they, usually when you cut a show at a time, they'll start pulling shots,
Right.
and they pulled a couple of shots that weren't super cinematic.
Okay.
But I asked to put the cinematic version back in, but in the time frame that they wanted,
Yeah.
and everybody loved it. And that's when I was like, it's saving that director's vision, because they had some really cool stuff that for certain reasons, things didn't work, you got cut, but putting back in the cinematic version of us all sitting here doing it versus just it's been the most fun for me, because when they see it, they're gonna be super happy.
That's one of my strongest things I think that I have when it comes to posts. I'm always like trying to find the cinematic moment or the cinematic look. Didn't we have a shot where it did this beautiful?
He did that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like,
You know what I
wasn't
mean?
it, you know?
Like,
No, and
yeah,
that's-
there's a transition where there was a thing. Like, can't we?
And
You know what I mean?
it,
Yeah.
it makes the difference.
Yeah.
It makes the difference.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, especially in TV, there's a time limit on everything.
Right.
So if you're gonna do a big cinematic shot, tie it to something. Tie it to somebody speaking, or have that script supervisor ask how long was that.
Right.
And if you get to 30 seconds for the shot, do it again. Get it into the 20s, 18s, get it whatever, but keep that
Okay.
shot,
Okay.
right? And then it'll work. If you're a bunch of dead bodies and you're going across a bunch of dead bodies, you don't need to show all the dead bodies. We
Right.
got the point,
Right.
In the movie version, you can do it forever, because that's the tone of the movie.
Right.
In the TV version, we got it. The best example I can give, I love Sicarios.
Okay.
Brilliant movie. And if you remember that movie, after the big highway sequence, Emily Blunt and I think it's Josh Brolin are having this big fight.
Right.
And he did that from a super wide, and it totally worked. But in TV, you had to
You
come
right up on
you
it.
got to get you had that wide,
Yeah.
but you got to see that
Yeah,
face. You got to see that face,
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, and he's a brilliant director. I was like, that's the 100% moment between a movie and a TV show.
Right.
It's like you got to come see Emily, and you got. But also, when you're watching this stuff, you're watching on a big 50-inch screen. And TV is like this. Well, now everybody's like this, but it's still not the same thing. They still look real tiny on a 70-inch screen. You gotta come get their face. And that's like, that's my definition. If I tell like independent film director stuff, whatever the show is, you think you want, watch the show. See how they do it. Bring yourself to it, but don't do a scene that's super wide and you're not gonna do coverage,
Right.
because it's not gonna work.
Don't
You
fuck
know what I
up the
mean?
master.
Shoot
Sorry.
it, so you can pop out to it, so you can have the Sierra Master, the cinematic moment, and they'll love it, but they can't be the whole scene.
Now, I know we're going to go to another question over there, but I wanted to ask you, like, that is the thing, it's like for independent directors, people that haven't had a lot of experience doing breaking in or doing that, what has been your biggest piece of advice for, like, let's say, the first time you see an independent director, this is their shot, I mean, what are the things, obviously there's prep, but what are, like, talking about those cinematic and...
A couple things.
Yeah,
If you come in shadow prep.
yeah.
More important than shooting. You gotta see the process. But shadow the whole thing. Right?
Because like Carl Seaton, friends of ours, his cousin. Carl Seaton does a thing. I remember he told me, because I knew him way back when he was prepping. He would be like he would come to shadow you. He'd have his script out. He'd have all his things like as if he was directing it. So if you said, "How would you direct this scene?" You'd be able to tell him what you would do.
You're there, yeah.
So be ready like that.
Yeah, that's your practice.
Yeah.
That's your moment of sitting there watching the ABC and X. Break it down. Do the whole thing yourself and see how they handle stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't. The two things. When I was in multicam is set up where one director tries to do them all because you shoot every week.
Right.
So you never really get that bond, right? Single camera is when I first started bonding with other directors because somebody has to prep, somebody has to shoot. You can't do them all, right? And so you kind of get that thing where you're interchanging. But now having been a producer director, I can honestly say I will never believe that a director is point and shoot no matter what anybody says. Because I watched 3 brilliant directors shoot 6 episodes, a lot of times completely different than I would, and it worked.
Yeah.
It was 100% work,
Style.
100% style, 100% them, and I was like, that's a great way to do that moment. Now I would have done it differently, or I would have added this or did
We
that.
talked about that every day.
But the episodes are fantastic. They did a great job, right? And so we are always bringing something to it. And for anybody that thinks it's just point shoot, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not point shoot.
Staying within the mood and the tone and respecting
Stone
the
or
art
how you believe it. You're bringing your thing to it. So I'd say the shadowing. I would say you have to have mental strength and patience. It's super hard right now. But it's not just hard for independent people starting out. It's hard for people who've been working for 15, 20 years. Like, and so don't cry at home, but embrace it and complain to like minds. Don't complain down. If you got 3, don't complain somebody doesn't have any. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll be honest with you. We had maybe a window where there was a diversity push and all that. I was directing before. It was always hard. It never not been hard. That's why some people pick one genre and just stay in that genre and they're good to go. Depends on who you are. For me, I can't. But it is what it is. And at some point, you're gonna, like I said, the 4 steps. You're gonna move to step 3 and 4. And then you got to figure it out again.
It comes from you. You are so confident, but you're charming and brilliant, very prepped. But you, you already know all that. You have a fabulous hat as well. And all your
the hat. Here's the thing. I love the X-Files. That was my show, and I always wanted to go to Vancouver. So when I finally got to go up there, it was for a kid show, Boys and a Giant Robot. And I was like, what am I going to remember it by? So I started getting hats. So every hat is a show. Every hat is tied to something. And now there's a bazillion of them. And now, by the way, my head is always cold, so now it's a thing. And what's funny is if I don't do the fedora, if I do a baseball cap, people don't recognize me on set. I was at the harbor, and you can't do a fedora when it's 30 degrees, and I'm on the set trying to get everybody to do something, and I got actors walking right past me. They're like, oh, I didn't see you.
They're like, sir, are you here for background?
Yeah. True story, 100%. That actually did happen on Modern Family.
Let's bring in Jay.
Hi, Jane Hunter. Thank you for being here.
How are you?
What advice?
Who are you?
Yes, where are you from? Tell us what you're doing. You about to blow up. Tell us.
I'm from New Jersey. I currently go to USC. I'm getting my master's degree in film and
Who did
television. We do a lot of film work for directing. What advice do you have for young creators that want to get into single cam directing right now?
Single camera is film school. It's multi-camera that's not. Multi-camera you can only learn while doing. Single camera is film school. So I would just say keep shooting those shorts Try and get a job on a show. Try and get a job on set if you can. You know, loader, whatever type of job you can get. But yeah, what you're learning at film school is exactly what you're gonna do in single camera. It's not gonna be any different. Multi-camera will be completely different. But
yeah. She want to produce more though, right now. Yeah, she wants to produce more.
we need more. Of those.
Yeah, we need some kick-ass more producers,
Yes.
strong women.
We need more producers, and to be honest, what we really need is people in the room to make the decisions. Or a division where they're gonna hire different diverse people to pick different diverse things.
Right.
Because it's too. If your life experience is one thing and you're just judging something from the outside, there's no way you've had that experience. How are you determining that show can work or not?
Right. Greg.
Greg Simon, director, producer, filmmaker. Nice to see you. You touched a little bit upon the television business constricting. We're talking about post-COVID, most recent strikes, and business changing and the competitiveness of it and difficulties of it. Part of the way that it worked before COVID and before the strikes in terms of general meetings and sort of getting on people's radars at the studios and the networks and the showrunners and trying to align all those people in your court over a period of time, eventually get that shot, hopefully, on a show that they're all related to. In recent times, you're hearing less, especially because a lot of people are first even starting to come back to the office now, right? That's not even 100% happened yet. But the process of getting these general meetings seems to have also constricted, and less executives are less inclined to take a meeting with a new director, or even if it's not a new director, to directing new to that network or new to that studio. So, number one, do you agree with that? And if so, what's sort of your what do you think the new strategy is in terms of getting on people's radars and lining up all those new fans from the different areas in order to get you that shot at that network or on that show or at that studio?
I 100% agree with it, but I think one thing people aren't realizing is I think the execs are doing less meetings because they got nothing for you. And I think they remember they want that connection.
That's a good point.
They want that connection,
Yes.
and so it hurts their heart too, right? So I think they're doing it. It is constricting because they take a meeting with these room great people, and then they got nothing for them. What I think you should do is you just have to keep doing it. I think there's is there a level below? You know what I mean? Is there an executive below that top executive that will meet with you? That can get that you can just start to build that relationship with. It is hard, you know what I mean. And before, I'll be honest with you, it was easier because once you got into camp, you could work. Now, even some camps you're in, you might be doing a great job. It might be hard to go back because they just don't have enough episodes. So I don't know that I have the 1,000% answer to it, but I know that it is happening. But I don't think the reason is. I think the reason is because they're trapped too.
Let me ask you a question about shadowing. Does it depend on the show that allows you to bring somebody to shadow, or do you have to shadow somebody that they say?
It's. I think that's going to be the next thing in the next contract negotiations because shadowing has gone in a whole different direction now. Even for us in Cape Town, we had a shadow, but she could only shadow 3 days because of insurance. So there was a while, and to be honest, I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings or anything, but there was a time when the program didn't have the power that they have now, and so they're really once they garner that power, they can put people on shows. So I say definitely enter all the programs, right? Yeah. But now what that does, it takes away from you individual as a person finding that person. It's very political because it's coming from that program. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. The program's vetted these people and they earned it and all that type of stuff. So shadowing has become a very dicey, hard game. I haven't had, we had the one person for 3 days in South Africa, but I haven't had a shadow in a couple of years.
Really?
That I knew, somebody
that you brought in.
That I brought in.
Oh, yeah,
that I brought in.
I'm
the last time I had a bunch of big shadows, I did this pilot called Family Reunion for Netflix. It was a comedy. And I had 8 people come 1 week.
Really? So you had somebody every day?
Every day. I had 8 people. Like just come and I sat down and talked to them about multicam and all that type of stuff. And that's the last time I remember it was like I could just ask and get permission and all that type of stuff. I do think they need to definitely have the program person, but allow people to have other people, and then do the same way the programs do. Vet the people. What we really need is not just a shadowing. We need like the program should be for new people, but us should be able to hire other Writers Guild members or DGA members or SAG members. The mid level. That's that's what's missing, because basically you got to go from here to the program and come up. But all these people that got one show or two show but just need that extra thing or need that more experience, where's the help for them?
So this goes into, I'm about to be on my soapbox for a second, so hold on. This is one of my hill dog bullshit things that I think is going on. So I've been saying probably for 15 years, there should be a program for like producer level writers who are like Issa before she got Insecure. Like we all know them, right? Some of us in this room already there. We already know how to run small shows and whatnot. Put us in a program that gets us ready to run shows so we could go be number twos. Because that's the one, I'm telling you, somebody who staffed the show, it's the one position that is gone like that. Number two position. You can't find them anywhere. Everybody's like, oh, well, they're booked, they're already booked. You know what I mean? Like, we could be helping you. You know what I mean? But the problem is when they think of diversity or whatever the word is, they think, oh, they need a beginning program. We're like, no, bitch. We already know how to do this stuff.
Right, yeah.
You just got to put us in the position to vet us so that we can go off and help people on their shows.
Yes.
And now you got 30 people in one program that could be, you know what I mean, helping you run shows. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Oh, no, I 100% agree. And especially, I see it now, because even when we did Joe, the writer's room, all the streamers doing it, if they're doing 8 episodes, the writer's room was done. The only person that came down was our creator, Rob, and Scott, one of the writers. That was it, because his buddy, and he's like a co-executive producer.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
None of those people
didn't produce shit.
Anything.
Yeah.
And how do they get into those positions and all that? But it's not, it happened to us too, because when everything kind of opened up, they went and grabbed a lot of new people, but there's a whole section of mid-level people that had an opportunity to direct maybe once, twice, whatever, that got pushed to the side because they were going to grab straight new people. And some of those people were just a verge away from being good, you know what I mean, or just needed that thing and never got that shot. So it happens. It's happening to writers now. It happened to the directors a while ago.
I can see that.
But you've got to do something about it, because I enjoy having writers on set. I think I had a whole thing. I was supposed to start doing blue, start posting. Like I have a whole thing of like what writers should do when they come to set and how to, all that type of stuff.
We haven't talked about that.
Oh, we could, yeah, but it's
Tracy, you got something?
Oh, yeah, hi.
Keep that thought.
Okay, go ahead.
Tracy Taylor, writer, director. Oh, I'm writer, director, and what?
Extraordinary.
Extraordinary. I'm just first really excited to be here to watch you talk, Eric, because Eric is
One more
sort
time. Turn it around.
this way.
Turn it
turn the whole
around.
microphone.
See the hole? See the circle?
Oh, that's where I should be.
One more time. There you go, right there. There you go.
Hello.
Perfect.
Got started.
This is Tracy Taylor.
You an actor, girl. You can
like
do
a
it.
commercial.
I'm a writer, director, mid-level writer, producer level writer, and director who's done one episode of television. But I just
So
want
far.
to say, what did you say?
So far.
Yeah,
So far,
Yeah.
so far, and I'm excited to be here. Because I've been listening to the podcast forever, but also
Thank you.
Eric has been sort of my mentor quietly forever. Eric's the reason I got in SAG. Eric has written me so many recommendation letters when I was trying to get into the program.
I love it.
I've done the Disney directing program. I've done the Disney writing program. Spent 5 years on The Good Doctor, and then got to direct that. And then they were like, "Oh, you would get another one," and then the show got canceled.
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you is, and I've heard this from a lot of people, like, first they say getting your first episode is the hardest. Now they're like, but really getting that second episode is the hardest.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that now because
It's like moving up the story editor.
yeah. So is there anything? I know your path is a little different because you were in That's a Raven. Also, I was an extra on That's a Raven 3 times.
That's what you gotta say.
And it was because of Eric. I called him up. I was like, I need to get SAG.
Oh yeah, I used to look I don't know. I used to just, if somebody called me, I was trying to get as many people.
You're like, you need some money?
Yeah, come down. Boom, boom, boom.
Good dude all the way around, just like helping people. And I just have always. And Eric was actually supposed to help me. He was gonna co-direct my first film with me, and then he booked an episode.
I got my first episode, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't, because
She worked it.
She got to do her thing.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, any advice on moving from that I know it's a path, but from doing that first episode into trying to get the second.
It's hard. It's good. To be honest, it takes 3. It takes 3. First time, whatever show you're on, everybody helps you.
Right.
Second, you remember, the first time, oh, they applaud. Oh, no. I remember when I did, oh. And the second time, it's like, oh. Third time, it's like, so you know, yeah, bye, you got to do your thing. They ready to go home, right? They go for the car keys. You go for the Oscar. So I think the best path
That's
is...
a t-shirt.
Yeah. I think you have the power to write your way in, and I think the next time you get on a show, that's going to be your window. Or as you write your own show, don't ask to do the pilot, but lock yourself in to that last episode, first season, or whatever, whatever it is, And I think that's TV's a writer's medium. As much as I wish it was a director's medium, but I think you got to write your way in. But when it comes, you're going to be ready even more so than the last time, because you've done it. And you've seen all that you've done, and now you've gone on to other shows and written on other shows, and you've seen other people. So it's going to be like that. It's just, I don't know. It's hard right now. I'm like trying to tell people, but it's hard for me too. Like everybody, on every level. If you have, for directors, it's like this. If you had a bunch of camps, you good. If your camps were ending, or you don't have a lot of camps, it's not that great.
But see, you said something earlier though. You're on a show that you're like, we're fighting against Netflix. Or whatever the other one. No. You're fighting against whatever the other, companies are that's airing their shows. So it's like, even though you have a job, it's still not easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
So people just think, oh, well, I just want what you have. You're like, well, I want what they have.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm trying to be vigilante. That's what you're talking about.
That's why comparison is the theft of joy.
Right,
You will suck your joy if you sit your time comparing yourself. Let everybody that got something you don't have be your motivation. Now, you can have your bad day quietly. I had one. I smoked a cigar yesterday. I'm feeling a little rough day. I had some bad news. But you know what? That's just. Then you wake up the next day. You just gotta go. You gotta go. So, but
that's what I was saying to you about your joy. It's like you have that. You're really positive, and I think it's like we do see, and we've worked with really talented people, but sometimes it's like. You're like, why isn't that person gone upward, their career gone up? And it's because they're maybe they don't get along with other people. They're not a collaborator, or they're not on the microphone. So that's a big part of it too, is the mental, keeping yourself in the game. Just what you said, because that can crush meetings and affect so many things.
And it's the window. Here's the other thing I'll tell you too. Princess Monique. She did the show. So she came to shadow me on Grownish. And 2 years later, she got her big break on something. To me, as a director, it felt like nothing. To her, it felt like forever. Whatever window opens for you, from that day forward, start counting 2 years. Because I've seen it with everything. I've seen it with all the different genre jumps. It was always 2 years. It was always so whatever. So I know that sounds crazy. It sounds super long. But if you put that in your mind. Then you won't go so crazy as you're waiting. But it does take time for it to. Because I even told her, I said, oh, that was nothing. She was like, that was 2 years. I said, oh, it was? I had no clue. But yeah, so. Yeah.
Did you get everybody going, well, what happened to that thing? Well, what's next? You know what I mean?
And it's even weirder now because you do stuff and it doesn't air for a year later.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm blowing up boats and I can't even show anybody yet. I got some footage. I showed some people some stuff and they're like, holy cow. I don't even know when we're airing yet. I'm sure. I think it's October, but I can't say anything until then. It's hiring season. I could be showing my boat. So.
Do you want to make any movies? Direct more movies?
1,000%. Yeah. And that's where I think I've been. So I'll tell you about the research thing. I'm a Guy Ritchie fan. I like but I was trying to figure out what all of a sudden Guy Ritchie is on fire right now. He found some writers.
Oh, that's right. He didn't write that last show.
He hooked up with somebody because I watched The Gentleman on the plane to South Africa. I watched the whole season on the plane, all 8 episodes. Yes. But he just he had so I'm looking to hook up with some writers. Listen. And here's the thing. This is what I say.
Hey, look, I like that shit.
This is what I say right now.
I got a script right now that's in that word.
Give it to me. I will read it. this week. I got a pilot meeting this week, and then I will give me till you get into next week. I will read it. So, and the thing is, and this is why I said another plug. I'm from TV, so I'm used to telling somebody else's story. Come on now. But I think that's the thing. I really think, and it really does. Spielberg even said it starts on paper, and then it goes from there. And I can, you know, as good directors, we can enhance anything that's on paper.
Right.
But it starts there, and so that's the next thing. And for me, the great things my dad told me is also the curse. I'm always thinking, I'm the big thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, no, I need to think the small story, because the big story costs lots
Yes.
and lots of money, and lots of people chime in and all that type of
Right.
stuff. So yeah, but that's 100%, 1,000% the goal. We'd love to do it.
It's exciting. And anything with this?
Oh, I got the pilot. I got the lookbook. I got the whole first season with all the twists
Okay.
broken down. I did everything.
Yeah.
I just haven't. It's a weird thing. I haven't done the thing where I'm just giving it out yet, or taking it out yet, or done the pitch yet. I'm like talking to people, but I would 100% want to do it. And it's not that. Listen, it's not that expensive. I know how to do it.
You want to do it as a show?
Yeah, I want to do it as a show. I've thought about the pilot script is 66 pages. I thought about, does this become a movie? If it's a movie, it's never going to be a movie in theater, because it's, I'm not saying never. It's not a big IP. So
You are up against Marvel.
you're up against Marvel and all that type of stuff. And it's, by the way, it's sword and sorcery set in modern day with people of color. So it's not superhero, but everybody thinks it is. But we've never done sword and sorcery with anybody of color.
True.
Right? We had that movie that came out, was like, but we've never done it, right? So I think TV would allow you to
Expand the world.
Expand the world.
Slow
because
down, take your time.
and it's character driven.
Yeah,
And if
sure.
you buy into the characters,
Right.
and then it becomes all that stuff. And you can splurge on to make it look good enough.
Right.
You know, I mean, CW lasted for 10 years doing that stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then, you know, go from there. So
And
that's
the
what,
urban grit. You know?
yes, it's
Right, I love
100%. I
that.
mean, it takes place in New York, I'm sure, tax
Yeah.
breaks it, I'll be shooting in Toronto or something. Or something. By the way, but it could be any city, like it could be Chicago, it could be, but yeah, I would love to do it. And I also think, and I'll be 1,000% honest with this, we don't have any people of color in the stuff that we love. We're the first ones going to see Star Wars and all this other stuff. Game of Thrones. I've seen every
We go to
episode.
the movies more than they do.
Yes, and
It's true. It's true.
we never see it.
Yes.
So I would love to not only launch it, but then turn around and start helping other people
Right.
make theirs and create a whole brand for it.
I love it.
And it would do great. It's just so hard to like, because you're not. If we do a comedy, you can walk in a room and somebody's done comedy. You're walking into a room saying, I want to do science fiction and fantasy,
Right.
to people that have never done science fiction and fantasy. But you saw what Black Panther did, though. You know what I mean? You see
Some
it.
movies right now.
You saw what Shang-Chi, all of it. And here's the difference. They did it, and it was 4 or 5 years before there was another one. Because it was enough. Not.
That's right.
But if that had been, by the way, Captain America's second one came out 2 years later. Iron Man came out 2 years later. Like,
And then
I'm being honest.
England did Supercell, which I fucking love.
Yes, which was great.
Yeah.
And they're doing another one. They're
Yeah.
doing another season. So, but that's the first kind of one. But as cool as it is, it's still something that we know, because there's no costumes. There's no. It's the X-Men. It's great,
Yeah.
right?
They have the same powers.
Same powers.
It's just different people.
And different people.
Different world.
So it takes you that long to see that you could do that? Because all storytelling is putting a new spin and making something creative through the character. You can't throw some color on that and then tell that story?
Right. So let's go through your list.
Yes.
You know by heart?
What? Yes.
By heart.
Yes. Not by heart, but I can give you a couple things.
Tell them what the list is. Let's bring
So
it
the
back.
list is about writers when they come to set,
Right.
like things they would do. I have it. I can look it
Like
up.
etiquette or something.
Yeah, etiquette. Know the story forward and back. Never give notes on rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
Let them rehearse it. Let them block it out.
Mhm.
Let them see it first. Obviously, don't approach the actors first, but be there when the actors start having questions and they want to start coming in.
Gotcha.
This is the funny one. The old heads, let the old heads be the old heads. Because some old heads have been around for a long time. They may not want to be your friend.
Right.
They may be snarky. They can't be snarky. They gone in 8 days. You there for a job. Do your job. Right? Know how they shoot. And in general, foundation of a shoot is you start wide, you go in. So when they're doing the big wide, don't get performance notes.
Right.
Don't get and after that wide has happened twice, if the director starts doing it 3 and 4 times, ask why. And know when you
So how many times do you like to do your takes?
my big wide, just 2, and then I start going in.
Okay.
I start going, but then
You want to have time to be.
you want to have time to go in. I want the cinematic. Everything is going to be an off-frame Sahara master
Gotcha.
on every scene.
Okay.
How are we starting it off? How is your established? How are you bringing us into the scene?
Right.
But have an idea, even if you never want to direct, have an idea of how it goes. It's wide, tighter, super tight,
Gotcha.
right? If they're going to do their one-ers, let them do their one-ers, but then look at that script and where's the key line that you know from the tone meeting that you know needs to be said.
So they're not moving on the line.
Or did you get that in the close-up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and if it's a short scene and they need to do one, let it go, because that's when they're making up their time.
Okay.
Right? If it's a long scene and they're trying to do all this in one thing, but they were supposed to be crying here, they were supposed to be sad here.
Right.
Can we get that? So they got their thing, let the director get their thing, but then you make sure you get that coverage.
Right.
And it's a question. You said, well, I thought in this moment they were supposed to be doing this, so it's not antagonistic.
Exactly.
And then they go, smart director will go, they were. And they're gonna go get
Play it
it.
back.
They're gonna go get it, or they'll show you, right? They'll do it. So that like those are like the main kind of. There's one I'm forgetting that's off the top of my head that I really want to say, but those are like the main things of it all, that and type of stuff.
How do you like to work with your writers?
Oh, I love it. I love when they're on.
And give new directors who are coming in how they should work with the producers on the episode.
Well, cause I just kind of go in and start working with the actors first. But after I do, I come back and talk to them.
Right.
It's two things. When I finish every scene, before we go shoot with the actors, I go, does it feel real? If it feels real, I'm ready to go. If it doesn't feel real, then we got to work out that moment. We got to work out that beat. You know, we had to have that discussion. But then they go back and talk to them, and a lot of times, if they have experience, I don't say as much. If they're new, I kind of say, so this is the wide. I walk them through it. So I'm going to go in and get this. I'm going to go get that. A lot of times they'll ask you, and I'm like, yeah, this is. But that's why I say about no, because when you start asking those questions and you don't know, of course I'm going to get it. Of course I'm going to do it, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but the more knowledge that you have as a writer, the more helpful you can be in those moments, and the more you can see those things. And you, by the way, you're there, you can start checking them off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then,
because usually, I mean, I'm assuming you're not sharing your shot list with the producers and stuff.
Here's the thing: I do and I don't. I share a floor plan.
Okay.
So every DP and first AD knows exactly where everybody's supposed to be, because I floor plan everything.
Right.
And I do have a shot list. This is called Shot Lister, which is a great program.
Yeah.
It actually does the time difference. So you put all your times in, and it tells you when you're falling behind.
Right.
And so it turns red. So I'll be looking at the first AD when it shows green. I'm like, I'm in the green. And then the first time when they come back and get you, like, it's red right now. It'll be green in a minute. Leave me alone. So
First
yeah,
AD is
I do. Yeah, I don't necessarily have to share. A lot of directors don't share it at all.
Yeah. The
I'm
reason I was asking was this, because I like what you were saying. Like I like when a director, like, you're really good at going, for example, so here's what we're going to do. You do it sometimes in a powwow, whatever. We're going to do this, we're going to do this. I just want to know what it is so that I can anticipate how long I think it's going to happen.
Yes.
And are we doing the vision that we said we were going to do? You know what I mean? So I don't need to see your shot list. I just need to know what it is. I like to be like, kind of like, oh, I didn't know you were going to do that. I did that every day. I was like, girl, you can shoot. You can shoot. You know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah.
But I like to know what it is.
Right.
For
And
sure.
and know the turnaround. If you and I are talking right now, right? And if the camera's on me, and you didn't say something right, the camera's on me.
Right.
Don't say
Right.
Hilliard didn't do it.
Exactly.
I'm about to turn around. I'll
Exactly,
get him
exactly.
in. But I remember what it is I wanted to say. The biggest thing I want to tell you is the first thing you should ask when you get there as a writer is, when you see the schedule, what are the trouble days? And the trouble day is the day that's just too long, that they're trying to squeeze it in.
Right.
And that's the day that you as a writer talk to the showrunner about, you talk to the producers about. That's the day that you focus on.
Right. We might be going in OT.
Am I going to? Can we cut this day down?
Right.
That's the number one day. The first thing you should be asking about, first question is, what are our trouble days?
Right.
Because there's one in every show.
Yeah.
And what can you do? Sometimes you just got to shoot the trouble days. Showrunner might not want to change a thing.
Right.
Sometimes it's just you going back, going, this is a trouble day, and they need this and that. All of a sudden, the whole shift starts happening. Scenes start getting cut. Everything is no longer a trouble day.
Right.
And if you see a schedule and there's more than 6 things on there, 6 slides on there,
That's
ask. Like, 6 on here. Is this okay? You know. And if you write the word montage, set your timer at 4 hours, because that's what it is.
Right.
In multicam it used to be limbo.
Well, because they're new locations.
Yeah, new locations. Everything's a setup.
Exactly.
In multicam it was this thing called limbo. They'd be like, this would be limbo. Everybody, what the hell is limbo? You don't know where this is. Where is this? and single camera is montage. The moment you see a montage, the clock starts at 4 hours and goes from there. Like it's long. It's gonna take forever.
That's another thing too, is like when I've talked to other writers and I've gone through, we've read a lot of scripts and, we read each other's scripts and stuff, and you're like, so you're gonna go under the water. You're gonna do all this stuff, so how are you gonna do that in the time? And I think sometimes writers just don't think about how long these things are gonna take.
Never.
And it's like, if the director, you need to, right?
Yes,
to say,
but that's our
maybe
job.
we can pivot.
Yes, that's our job to figure out how long it's going to take.
Right.
And I love to see Here's the thing. Anytime you say the water, explosion, whatever it is, I love it because
Weather.
Nobody's doing it.
Right.
People aren't doing it. So the moment there's drama, I love the drama because now you have to solve the puzzle, and that's directing, right? And then and if you can pull it off, they never forget.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, it becomes harder for the next person because now they start doing it every time. Well, we just did water last week. Yeah, well, we can't do it, so it becomes a thing.
Right.
But also, when you write that stuff, watch how they did it. See what they did. And even if you don't want to direct, you'll know. So the next time you're on set on another show and you see a director either doing something new or not knowing what to do, you'll know right away. So now you can help. So now you can protect your vision because you wrote water, right? And you wanted them to go underwater, right? So you're protecting your own vision. So
I think that is so much fun. Like I've done some reality docu stuff here, and where it changed, and it was like I had to cover 3 people, and then and then like 20 people came into and then I had to cover everybody else and get everybody's stories, and I literally had minutes to come up with how I was going to do it and move around with 2 A and B cameras, and it was, for me, it was a lot of fun, and I just was like, let me take a breath and get her, even though she's talking like this the whole time. But making it work, and I think that's kind of like it. We have to, even though all the prep, sometimes things are just not going to go. We have to be ready.
You have to be ready. The hardest part of directing to me is when you're reading the script and you get on set. It's not anybody that's talking; it's everybody who's not talking. Because what are they doing in the middle of that scene? And that's where my, so the first time, that's where my eyes going. Like, are they in the right place? Are they doing something? Are they because the moment any actor doesn't have something to do, they're gonna start doing something.
Yes.
And is that something part of the scene, or they want to leave, or they want to go? There's a whole funny story George Clooney.
Why are they on there doing
There's a funny story George Clooney on ER. If you ever watch ER, whenever he finished the scene, he would turn and go in the door. So he didn't have to do the turnaround. So if you ever watch him exit, he's always like exit. That door led to nowhere, whatever it was. He was always doing something, so he didn't have to go. That's the thing, like what are they doing, right? Because you're gonna have to cover that stuff. He's genius. But yes, but that's so that's the thing. The first thing, like what's everybody else doing? Then when you get a handle on that, then you can kind of guide into what's the main thing about what it is. But I'll be honest with you, even at this point, whenever I see 7, 8, 9 actors in the scene, you get that moment where you're like,
oh God,
here we go, but you get through it, or if you sit people down at a dinner table, that's another 4-hour one. The moment they're at a dinner table, all day. That's a 6-hour to be honest.
Yes.
And there's a trick to it. You put them in a triangle.
Yes.
So you put the 3 people talking in a triangle. So there should be like 3 or 4 different triangles on your table. And then you can kind of go like this, and you can kind of knock it out.
Little pies.
Yeah, little pies. Yeah.
What about going from here and then pulling back?
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah, you can pull back, you can do whatever, but how, as you break down the scene, after you get through the performance, you got to start breaking it down, like who does what, and then you try to sit them in that area. And if there's somebody that doesn't have something to do, have them go get some food. Have them get up.
Right.
Or if they got one line over here and you're over here for a while, have them go so they can say that line coming back in. They're in the background.
Make it flow.
They're in the background of your shot. Now you don't have to do a whole nother setup because that's all they said. Or if they're talk the least, make sure their back's to camera first, because you're only turning around to pop that off. Everybody else is gone. It's a quick turnaround, and then you got everybody else, and they're over the shoulders, and it looks, And you can do that in multicam. I've done that in multicam. Had somebody in the fourth wall, which you normally don't do, and they'll get up and go. Get something, and they go the way that's not blocking who's talking.
Right.
They say their line on the way back, and then if we want to do fourth wall, then we just pop that in at the end, and we just knocking those things out and stuff. So.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Anybody else? Can we hand them pass that over? Pass the Dutchie over there.
Watch it.
Oops.
Sorry. Just wrap it around
Over your
Oh,
head.
here, let me put it.
Sorry, guys.
Get him in the donut.
Hi, my name is Lois, writer, actor, director.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming.
Oh man, thanks for having me. This is dope.
He's from the Haitian Nation.
Oh,
Nation,
yes.
yes. You represent. My question is, when you're working on a show where there are like stunts or there's like other set pieces, when you have to work with a second unit director, how do you negotiate that? Do you take a backseat to that, or do you allow them to like do their thing, or do you stay there with them?
You kind of stay. You kind of. It depends on the show. Like you kind of stand with them. So, for all the big shows now, they have a stunt coordinator, right? And you will sit down with them. You give them your ideas, and they'll do these whole great big previses of like what the thing is, and then you can give notes on the previs and all that, and they shoot it like it's the scene, you know. And it goes to the producer, goes to everybody. So everybody weighs in on it, right? So you don't necessarily have final sound, but you can because it's still your kind of vision of how you want to do it. And then you go shoot it, and you're doing pretty much the shots that they have done, but you've talked about it because there's certain things you want. So that's how they normally do it. So like I was basically second unit for Average Joe as the producing director. So whatever they couldn't do, I just went and did. And I talked to them about it, what it was going to be. But I did all the establishers and all the set to look. And we actually went so old school. We had, took a helicopter.
Oh,
We
really?
shot. There's only 2 shots that are bought. Everything else, all the establishers, we shot. We flew all over. I'm afraid of heights, but it was fun. But what's crazy is, and I didn't get to tell the story, but when helicopters back up too fast, they go like this.
Oh, God.
They'll tilt up.
That's terrible.
But what I didn't realize is if you're staring at a monitor, you lose your
Perception.
you lose the eye line. You lose the eye.
Yes.
So I'm staring at the monitor the whole time, and all of a sudden everybody else go, oh. And by the time I looked up, we were coming back down because I'd have panicked. Because we were over the water and it was straight up like this, but you lose your eye line. That's why those pilots, that's probably what happened to JFK. The pilots lose their eye line, the horizon line, because if you're looking at just one thing, you don't know. So I'm like this the whole time, which helped me with my fear of heights. And a couple times I do that, but I'm like this. I just said, don't do no Magnum PI. Just don't do, he did a couple, but I was like, Lord have mercy, don't jump drops. But yes, we were straight down, and then by the time we got pulled up, so, but yeah, so you kind of like I did all the location shots, all the established stuff, and you kind of go and get what they can't get. I like to shoot my own inserts. I did a ton of inserts. There were days when we had to just do insert after insert, and you just take the shot and match it up. So it kind of.
So you don't ever send like a B team to go do the insert stuff? Are you there doing it all?
I try to do them when I'm directing. I try and do all my own inserts.
Okay.
Sometimes you run out of time.
Right.
So when I was the producing director, I went back and did all the inserts. Okay. And so there was a day when they were shooting over here, and we were on the lot, and like it's a table, it's a close up of a table. We just bring in a table. They were out the sand. We had to do insert on the phone. We just threw some sand on the ground, and you light it to match, and then you do it really tight. But you could still. What's fun is I had fun doing it because I did every one of them very Dutch or cinematic. I had fun with them and all that.
Okay.
It's just a long, slow day because you just waiting and setting up. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that it kind of works hand in hand. Movies, I think they kind of can kind of go off and do stuff.
Yeah.
And they kind of do like a whole big second unit, and the director's not there, but I'm sure they see it. Afterwards. But
On the low budget though, we're doing everything.
Are you doing all yours though, right? Are you doing all your own inserts?
Yeah.
Did you do them as you did them, or are you going back?
I'm going back to do a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And that's also fluid because it's like I really love the way we're going over here into the rocks and the water here and stuff like that. So if I do an insert of the kid picking up the rock, I might want to get some other stuff that looks really beautiful as well. So I just kind of let it, having to go back.
I think inserts enhance the story, personally.
But I think a lot of directors don't, from my experience, from just the
We don't
independent
have to see him get the phone. He just has the phone now.
Exactly, it's just being more creative, but it's like they don't think when you're doing your shot list in your days, sometimes you're missing out on really important coverage of that B-roll and inserts, and it's just like.
I think inserts do 2 things. It makes sure the audience never is lost, and it keeps pace, because the eye is seeing something. So I love it. It's an ego thing that I want to shoot all my own inserts because I want to make sure I got all my inserts. That's all. It's 100% like we all have ego. That's 100% straight ego. Yeah. But yeah, I always think you need to see the cups. You need to see them pick up the thing. You need to see them.
It's meaning. Even what we're looking at is moving the story forward. We're not just looking at a zebra for a reason.
Right.
We're looking at there's something happening with the subtext.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
What's next for you?
I don't know. Yeah, I got a meeting for a pilot. I got a meeting for a pilot. The final meeting. I did the first round. And
To direct it?
Yeah. To
Produce director or something?
I don't know. I think that always comes with the offer after.
Okay.
I mean, no, you get executive producer title if you do the pilot, so you get that right. I'm excited to do it. It's a cool genre, and so I made it past the first round, so I do that. And then it's just kind of like waiting out the fall season, and I don't know that there'll be 1,000 things, but there's always stuff that's still starting up and everything.
Right.
And then it's that for everybody. It's that if you have a bunch of camps, you probably going back to those camps. If you don't have a lot of camps, you're kind of doing the thing. So, but I was gone for 6 months, so I'm being a dad.
It was a long time.
I'm being there right now. I got summer. My son really wants to get to basketball, so I started my own basketball camp with him in the morning. He don't like getting up at 7 o'clock, but so I kind of gotta do that for a minute because you don't get that time back. So, so that'd be the thing. And we've been doing. So during COVID, we started watching all the old movies. So this week so we're doing that again. We did Breakfast Club.
Okay.
And we did Teaching Tomorrow. Have you ever seen it with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
That movie holds up so well. I forgot it's a love story to it too. The movie is dope, and they loved it. Like they loved it, and so we did that Breakfast Club.
You gotta take them back to.
And
you gotta take them back to West Side Story, Jaws. You gotta show.
No, we did Jaws. We started with Jaws and Goonies.
Okay, good.
And by the time that was 4 years ago, by the way, the language in Goonies was a little. I forgot.
It's current.
Yeah, it's current. So I was like, we started that wrong. Jaws, he's brilliant. It holds up. Everything we do in shots, the push pull, the long oneer, it's all in Jaws.
It's all in Jaws.
And
Everybody
remember,
should be watching that and studying that.
and because it was a disaster to make. Like he was crying and hiding out. It was a disaster. But the fact that you can do music, like the pilot, you can't say what it is, but it's kind of intense, and it's for not necessarily for older people. But you remember Sleepy Hollow? They would always do the music when they heard Jaws.
What
they did the music. So we're talking about sound, and so that was one of my pitches in this meeting. Like we're gonna do sound for for these moments, so it tees people up and all that. That's all in Jaws. You can watch Jaws
the
at film
shark
school.
was terrible when he first. It was like coming out and and then coming back down again. And so that editor, that second editor, came in and they were like, "Wait a minute, we don't need to see the shark. It's just the anticipation and the score, and it's." Unfortunately, great white shark. There's poor sharks, but I kept telling him we're going to jump in the water because there were sharks where we did film.
No, definitely sharks.
But I said the sharks aren't going to go for Hilliard.
No,
they don't like
that's good meat right there. That's good meat. They don't chop them up so quick.
But the score was
They
really.
can smell cocoa butter a mile away from me.
And that's not the movie he was trying to make.
Yeah.
He was trying to make a slasher movie, and it couldn't become that because of that. So it's brilliant.
I love that it's like the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and then the movie you edit.
Yeah, you remake it. You make it 4 times. You write it, you act it, you shoot it, and you edit it. It's 4 to 1. 4 to make 1, and then and you can take. Great writing can make average actors look great. Yeah. But I don't think great actors can make average writing look great. I don't think you can do it the other way around. I think it always.
Although,
why were they saying?
No, I'm not gonna say no one.
But great acting can. If you ever watch Wanted with Angelina Jolie, all of that was supposed to be dialogue. She could sell it with a look. And Robert Redford, when they were doing Winter Soldier, he had a lot of dialogue. He said, "I can sell this with looks." Like the great actor can take your paragraph.
They know.
And sell it with a look. So so that's how you make it more than one time, because these were 2 movies that had a lot of stuff that they just was like.
Never mind, I'm not gonna say.
No.
Because I
Now we
don't
want to hear what it is.
No, I'll tell you off. I don't say negative things about people.
No.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Dope, man. You popped my chair. This is a good one.
I like to have an audience too. Just makes it more lively. You know what I mean? You guys, you have to kind of be on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people ask you questions that I don't think about, so it's a good thing.
Thank you,
awesome.
guys. Dope, man.
Well, thank you, Fia, for sitting in with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, I have to hype. They showed me the trailer. The movie. The movie to Mermaid. It's dope. The trailer is dope. It's gonna be a great movie. I think it's gonna be a movie that really moves people when you see what the subject matter is. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And a good time for it too. Good time for it.
Have them plug the book review.
Yeah. Let's plug this book.
Yeah.
Tell them what it is.
My graphic novel, Legend of the Man Tamaji. You can get it on my website. Mantamaji, MANTAMAJI. I'll be at Comic-Con, table 0-08. And we got 5 books. So come by and visit us. Come by and come talk directing and talk. Come get the graphic novel and let's go make some science fiction fantasy with people of color. Let's do it. Please do. Please do. 100%. And anybody else out there too, just go through my agent. But please send it. No, it's to protect you. It's to protect you. I was telling you that, like, send it to them so there's a track record of it.
Right.
Because I don't want to be on set one day and then all of a sudden they're saying I did something that I didn't do, and you know where your stuff is at all times, and they will give it to me. But send it.
That's what you want me to do?
Well, you yeah. No, you can. I'm talking about for people you know. People you know. By the way, I'm on record. Everybody knows where. Yeah.
Special shout out again to my man Lou. He got us on camera. Thank you. Quell over there. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Jade in the building, holding us down as always. Yusef, Tracy, Greg, Dwayne in the building. Thank you guys, all of you guys. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Where can people find you?
My my email, Instagram, my name, everything's my name, ERIC DEAN SEATON. So
keep it real.
If you go ericdeanseaton.com or you go ERIC DEAN SEATON Instagram or not X, but Blue Sky, was it? Yeah, Blue Sky, yeah. Then you find my name.
Got you. Where you at, Fia?
I'm at the Global Activista on Instagram. I'm channeling my very wealthy mother. Global Activista.
And I'm your host, Hilliard Guest. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything, LinkedIn. What did you say? Blue Skies? Blue Sky. What's the new one with the T? What's it called? Threads? Yeah, that motherfucker.
Oh, Threads. That's good.
I'm on everything at Hilliard Guest. We have a new Instagram, Screenwriters Rant Room. Let's make sure you guys subscribe to that. Please go on screenwritersrantroom.com. Subscribe to the show. I should be presenting this all to y'all motherfuckers right there. Make sure you guys go on screenwritersrantroom.com. Check it out. We got a whole new website redone from Minkwell, killing the game over there. Dope ass designer, actor, writer, producer himself, actor. He's like, I ain't know the Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Minkwell. Please go on there. Check out our merch page. Check out our archives page. So much cool stuff on there. So much cool stuff. Get your t-shirts. Get your hoodie. I got the new blue one on right now.
Yeah.
I got mine.
That is
So
nice.
Blue one on. That's cute.
That's really nice.
You got to get your shirts. Get your hoodies. All that stuff. We appreciate everybody. Please join me, everybody, for Game All Day. You guys know how we do it on the Rant Room. On the show, we keep it real. We keep it opinionated. We keep it what, everybody?
Game all day.
Peace, y'all.
Yay!
Ready?
I'ma say what I feel, and I promise to keep it real. Welcome to the Rant Room.